guys, in today's episode I'm going to be showing you how you can do some paper marbling at home. So paper marbling is a technique that's usually done with oil-based inks that sort of float on the surface of the water, and hence the name marble together, and then is transferred to paper. Today I'm going to be showing you an at-home version of this, which we can do, which is a little bit more child-friendly because it uses nail varnish. Obviously nail varnish is an enamel based paint, so it's quite hard wearing, it dries fairly quickly as well, and obviously you can create some really nice effects. So I've created some of these like little luggage tags, which I've just cut down to shape and used a hole punch to put the hole in. I've tried this with quite a few different papers as well, so I've tried it with like thick paper and cardboard, I've tried it with like the back of an old box, and even just regular printing paper as well. It works perfectly fine with that too, and I think this is just a really nice technique. There's something really spontaneous about it. It's quite difficult to anticipate what's going to happen and what patterns you're going to get, which I think kind of adds to the fun of it. You want to pick out a few colours. I'd say that you want to kind of think about your colours beforehand and sort of plan out, because speed is a little bit of the essence when it comes to this technique. You don't want to be leaving things on the surface of the water for too long. So pick out your colours first, maybe 3 or 4 colours that you think would work quite nice together. It's quite nice if you get like the same colour but slightly different shades, so you can get this sort of tonal effect coming through. I would say that the best thing to do is to obviously give them a good shake and then remove or loosen the lids so that they're ready to use. Now in terms of applying the nail varnish to the water, you'll find that different nail varnishes do different things. These sort of metallic paints react very differently to the jelly nail varnishes, which reacts differently again to like the regular nail varnishes. So just kind of have fun, experiment with it. You can't really predict what's going to happen until you do it, and you just want to take some nail varnish and almost just let it blob off the brush. If you find that it beads and it falls to the bottom of the water, then obviously that nail varnish is a little bit too heavy, so you kind of just want to try and put smaller amounts in and encourage it to sort of spread over the surface of the water, as this one is doing really nicely here. So as you put those smaller drops in, you can see it's just spreading out, and it's not that noticeable on the surface of the water at first, but once obviously you put some paper in there, you do get those little subtle colours coming through, and you can see that's really starting to spread nicely. And then some little splats just to add little flecks of colour as well. Once you get to this point, the next thing is to get your piece of paper, and you just want to layer it over the surface of the water. So I'm just going to place that on the top, and you'll see as the oils start to come through the paper, you can see that that's transferring. Obviously I've still got a lot of stuff here, so I'm going to put a second piece in and wait a couple of seconds, and then you just want to carefully remove the paper, and it should have transferred that lovely marbled effect onto the piece of paper. That one looks quite nice. The metallics come through really nicely on that. I'm not sure if it shows up on the camera so well, but the metallic looks really good. And because this is enamel based paint as well, it does dry quite quickly, so you don't have to worry too much once you're removing it from the water. It's pretty much stuck on there at this point. And the best thing in terms of drying them would be obviously to hang these up. I'm just going to place them on my bag for now. So this time I'm going to try some different colours, and this time I'm going to try a pouring technique rather than a blobbing technique. So let's see how that works out. So I've removed the brush from the pot, and I'm just going to make sure there's no nail varnish left on the end of that brush while I stand it to the side. I'm just going to try and pour some of this nail varnish. So again, I'm just going to take my little tags now. I'm just going to place them on the surface. And the beauty of these smaller ones is you can kind of have a look at what you're going to get depending on where you place them in the water. That looks really nice. Obviously with this technique here, as they've got the looser bits that aren't actually stuck to the paper yet, them bits will stick to your fingers, so you might want to just use something to get them out. Still quite a lot of nail varnish left on the surface of that there, so to clean your water, just place a piece of paper on the surface just to pick up those last little bits. And sometimes these scraps look quite nice to add into collages, and they'll just pick up all them leftover little bits onto that piece of paper there, which actually came out quite nicely. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you with this technique then is how we can actually try and marble things other than paper. If we get a larger tub of water, obviously this is much deeper, so I'm hoping that I can submerge some objects into this and get some marbling going on, so let's give it a go. So I'm putting some colour down, I'm just using the pouring technique there just to get some good coverage. I'm going to have a go at marbling this jar. Now I don't want to marble the whole thing, I kind of want to marble it halfway. So I'm just going to submerge it into the water and then do a sharp twist to push the rest of the nail varnish away and hopefully come out with a half marbled jar. So let's see how it goes. So picking where I want to go in. There we go. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but that's actually worked really well. It's added a nice little marble texture to this jar. Of course, to let that dry then, I would stand it upside down so it didn't stick to the surface. And there we have it on a tin as well. So I'm sure you can see there's lots of potential with this technique, lots of things that you could try, and I would absolutely love to see what you do with this technique, so please do share on social media and tag the Academy if you do try any of these techniques at home. I would love to see what you come up with, but most importantly, just have fun and experiment. What's the worst that can happen?